Welcome to the very last episode of Greeting Mashiach of Golos, and the first one of Geula. No, but on a serious note, I'm very serious. Episode 34 of Greeting Mashiach podcast. I am your host, Simcha Fish, and this is my co-host, Levi Palachenko. It's an exciting time. There is so much going on in the world of the Rebbe Sicha, so much going on in the world of the parallel world of the world. It's exciting. We have Syria, we have Vayishlach Nun Beis, we have Vayeshev Nun Beis, and how it all comes together. So, why don't you fill us in on the news, Levi?
Yeah, so breaking news, actually. What's it called? It's actually very, very, very incredible things that are going on in the world. You know, we had the complete takeover of the Syrian Assad regime, which is I was just listening to an interview with I think he was a general or for sure an officer in the times of the Six-Day War, Yom Kippur War, and he was saying how Netanyahu recently flew on a helicopter to the Mount Hermon, and specifically to the territory in Syria. But he was saying how it's incredible. Literally, he's never in his mind ever imagined the possibility of just seeing the Prime Minister of Israel on Syrian territory. Just that, not even the fact that the entire military is completely gone, all the weapons, the air, the navy, everything is completely gone.
But that itself merits talking about.
Correct,
To,
but
yeah,
he's saying just a very simple image of the Prime Minister of Israel with the IDF on Syrian territory, without any attacks, just them just chilling, talking there. He said just that, he's never seen it in his life. This is something that is complete out of, unprecedented is an understatement. It's like no one could have seen this coming.
Syria was very left field. Nobody really, if you asked the average person a few weeks ago what they knew about Syria, the very well-educated people who follow politics and have been around for a long time might tell you that there's a civil war going on there. But your average person wouldn't wouldn't even know that. Or
what's fascinating is not only that. I follow some pundits on the X, formerly known as Twitter, and
how long do we have to keep saying that for? By the way,
I don't know until
it sticks.
Until no one else says it. No one else says tweets. We still call them tweets. Anyways, it's very fascinating.
X's.
X's. I don't know. What's very fascinating is that even they didn't know what was going on. They were like confused. They were like, "Could someone please explain this? Like, am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to be sad? What's going on here? Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Do we like Assad? Do we not like Assad? There's we're not talking about. Never mind. But it's something that it's literally in your face, crazy things happening. I mean, not in your face actually. I heard something very geschmack from Rabbi Wolf in one of his shiurim. Everybody should go watch all of his shiurim, especially the ones from the past 3 weeks. But he was saying recently how he started his class, one of his shiurim, he started with, imagine a guy wakes up, Makas B'chayres, and is like, oh my gosh, do you see this? And like everybody else is like, dude,
welcome to the party.
Correct. A little late. But he said something interesting. He said, what was the difference between the miracles and the makos in Yetzias Mitzrayim and what's happening now? What was happening in Mitzrayim, that a guy wakes up at Makas B'chayres, it wasn't possible because he explains that the way the miracles were then, Hashem was breaking nature. It was shvira. It was a complete. It was transfer. It was taking the whole concept of nature and all these things. The way water is not blood. All these things, hail, fire, and water. All these things, completely flipping it upside down. Darkness that you could feel it, and then all these things, and it was hard to miss. It was a hard thing to miss. And he explains the difference now is that even though we are going through the same things, but now it's in a more, it's more subtle, so to speak. Like even the Syria, for example. even though it was such a crazy miracle, like anybody, like what I was just saying, this guy that had an interview, he said it's nuts. It's a miracle. There's no logical way to explain it. There's nothing that I could say. This happened and this happened and this happened. It was just like an
I think we should
explosion.
take a moment to explain what the miracle was.
Oh,
You know,
okay,
because
go for it.
Syria, like I mentioned before, is not something that most people know anything about. Um,
Yeah.
so
So yeah,
what's the history a little bit? What was the political climate as far as it relates to Eretz Yisrael, and what happened now? So I don't know too much about the topic, but this is from what I gathered. There used to be a lot of Yidden living in Syria. I actually unrelated today I saw there's the Machanayim books. I read the English ones, but I saw a Yiddish Machanayim book today. It had the word Damesek in the title. So I was like, oh, I have to read it. It had a bunch of Yiddish words I didn't know, but it was a pretty cool story about. I'm not going to go through the whole story now, but the
it was a
Yidden
cool
lived
story.
in Damascus. This was a thing, and when 50 years ago the Assad the came into power, his father it became don't know the I don't know the facts, so I'm not going to say any facts, so nobody can fact check me. But it became bad for the Yidden, as I understand, and people left. And Levi, if you know more details, please share. I literally don't know. What I do know is that there are almost no Yidden right now living in Syria, or they were trapped there, they were
There's
let
a
out.
few. There's a very few. Very few.
Very few. There's no longer much of a Jewish community in Syria. And it was a very he was a dictator by all accounts. Now, is it better or worse than what's going to be now? I have no idea. And that's more to do with the general climate of politics. But what was going on then, as far as Eretz Yisrael, was that a lot of Arab leaders have been deposed. And he stayed, he remained, and he had Russia backing him, and he had Iran backing him. And Iran was using him as there was a lot of sophisticated things that he had there from these other countries. And they had all these anti-aircraft things, and it was blocking Israel from using the airspace if they ever wanted to get to Iran. And they used it as a way to ship all of the missiles and all of the weaponry to Lebanon, to Hezbollah. So this was a very, very big problem, Syria was, and there wasn't really a way to fix it or deal with it. And overnight, the entire thing toppled without a shot being fired. I don't know if there was actually a shot or not, but virtually because of the
It was
war that Israel was in, put Iran in a weak position, having spent a lot of its wealth, and
Hezbollah also.
Hezbollah, right? The amazing miracles that we saw, the way that Hashem did for the Yidden with Hezbollah, the way with the pagers and blowing up and bombing and all the things, and with Hamas, everything is on its crippling, falling to its knees, and being blown to bits. And you have Russia busy with this war in Ukraine, and they're both blowing each other to bits. And nobody was, and Assad was left holding the bag, with nobody to support him. And the rebels, who have been fighting for 13 years against this guy, and you have to understand, Syria is a made-up country after World War One. It's not a real. I'm saying the current borders. It's a conglomeration of a lot of different people: Christians, Jews, different types of Arabs. This is not like a class. It's always been a tense region. It's not there isn't just one population there who lives there. It's a bunch of different people, amalgamation put together that never really worked properly. So there's these rebels, who are this other factions of Arabs. I don't know the details, and they've been fighting 13 years to freedom, and they kind of got the go ahead. You're like, because
All right.
there was just nobody stopping them. It kind of all
Let's do
fell
this.
apart. And overnight, Assad just gone. He went to Russia, and now he's at some cocktail party with Putin, probably. I don't know. But yeah, him and his wife, they left. It just fell. It's over. He gave up. And all the prisoners were released, some good ones, some bad ones, whatever the story is. It's not like these people coming in are good people. That's not really the point of the
Yeah.
story. What happened, though, was that after they fell, the IDF went, and anything they deemed a threat, and there's some reports are coming in that actually Assad actually
Yeah, told him about it.
told the Israelis where all the stuff. I have no idea if that's true, but that's even cooler. And they went and they bombed everything. Any sophisticated weaponry that could be used to get their planes out of the sky, all of the chemical warfare that Assad used against his own citizens, that it should not fall into whatever group will end up being in control or in charge of Syria. They should not have any ability to cripple and bother the Yidden. It should be they should be totally not a factor whatsoever. And that's something that nobody ever saw coming, and there's nobody stopping that. They just did whatever they wanted. Nobody's even upset about it. There's nobody to get upset about it. It's nobody's things. That is a crazy, crazy miracle. Just pure pragmatically, from the point of the safety of the Yidden Eretz Yisrael. And now, the big thing that everyone's been on Spielkas over these past many years is that Iran should not get a nuclear weapon. And the path to destroying that is becoming increasingly more likely, especially with our new president coming in very soon with his whole entourage of pro-Israel people coming with him. That's on the physical side of matters. But there's also the spiritual side of matters. And the Rebbe spoke in the Mem Aleph or whenever it was. I guess I didn't do my proper research. But whenever it was that the Rebbe was speaking about Damascus, the Rebbe wanted very much they should go into Damascus, if only a day. I'm not going to say they should wave the Israeli flag, but they should they should conquer for a day. From a military standpoint, to show them that they have the Stolz, we're in charge. But also from a spiritual standpoint. I don't know if they ever quoted it, but it's the same idea. But there's a medrash of Shimon ben Yochai going around that when Damascus falls, Moshiach is able to come. There's something associated with Damascus falling. The power of Damascus falls, then that enables the Geula to happen. And the Rebbe was saying that if even a day, they should conquer it, that this is important. I heard by Fabrengen in 770, David Nachshon, he said that the Rebbe said that they need to conquer Damascus, and if they won't do it, they'll end up having to do it. They'll be forced in a situation where they'll have to do it. But this is something that needs to happen. So this is really an amazing thing, and it's a big miracle. And we can always mention it's so important to recognize the miracles that happen around us, especially the ones connected and associated with the Geula, because Chizkiah made the mistake of not recognizing the miracles, and that's why he wasn't Zecher ben Mashiach. We need to make sure to keep our eyes open to fix that mistake, to make sure that we are recognizing, but also this helps us to open our eyes to realize what's going on around us. You always say, how do we live Geuladik? How do we make it real by us? How do I make it a reality? This is how you do it. You see what's going on. You don't ignore it. You say, hey, that's so cool. The Geula's not coming. You say, yeah, you can be cynical about it. Yeah, I know it's coming, whenever. No. It's things like this that get you excited, that make you care about it, to open up your eyes to this Geula reality. It's so important. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, without any names, not a Lubavitcher. And I made some comments about Mashiach, as I want to do. And he just was like, you don't got to eat, sleep, and drink about Mashiach. Every day he'll come whenever he comes. And that's the end of the story. There's more important things to care about. I'm paraphrasing, but that's almost exactly what he said. That's almost word for word what he told me. And as the Lubavitcher, that's so. I don't even know. That's not something you think still exists today. That's not something you really even think about. Like, what? But you have to remember this concept as it exists. This part of us that wants to think that. There's part of us that says, "Okay, he'll come whenever it is, and let me live my life." And that's kind of the mode a lot of us are on most of the time. I know we know Mashiach's important, obviously, but the way we're practically living and what's our whatever, we're living our life. I'm eating, I'm sleeping, I'm drinking, and I have more important things to do. Obviously, for those who are wondering, it's very important to eat, sleep, drink, and everything else should be Mashiach. You need to be entirely one-track minded about Mashiach, like the Rebbe says. And everything you do, you should, for mind, should always jump to the Geula. It says, "L'shwascha kavinu kol hayom." The entire day, you need to be pining for the redemption, awaiting the Eibishter's salvation. And the Rebbe brings, I believe, from the Chidah that it's in the merit, ki l'shwascha, because we are pining and hoping for them. That's what, and that's chus. Although we've earned it already, but you see how the connection. That's what brings the Geula. It is important. And we await his coming every day. The Rebbe talks in the Sikha and told us, Tavshin Abayz, how about the Avidish HaMashiach, that the very first moment, I'm not going to go through the whole Sikha, but when you wake up, the very first breath, even before you say Mada'ani, that first existence, that you're awake, you're alive, you're breathing, that's got to be about Mashiach. Your whole existence is Mashiach. Like yes, this is the most important thing. This is what it's about. Yeah. But we have to remember it, and the way we do, one of the ways we do that is obviously the most important way is by learning about it. For those, just a little plug on my personal YouTube channel, Simcha Fish. It's Simcha and Fisch. You could find I had a hiatus for a few months, but I started posting again the Tuesday night Mashiach share in 770. Just this week I posted a share all about Chanukah Lasud Lavai. Bacher gave a share. How are we going to celebrate Chanukah Lasud Lavai? What happens if in the middle of Chanukah Mashiach comes? So let's say it's the second night of Chanukah, and now Mashiach comes. Are you going to light now, like Beis Shammai, 7 candles or 2 candles or 1 candle? Because you can't. How does it work? What's going to happen? Or if you're going on a trip and you're going for 1 day, make sure you plan to bring enough candles in case it's Mashiach comes and it's like Beis Shammai. So you're going to have enough candles. Enough candles on your trip.
For more information.
More information, go see there. Just learning about it. But aside from that, what we're talking about here, seeing the miracles, this really changes your mind. Everything you see, we're human beings. Everything we imbibe that comes into our focus, our eyes, our ears, to our senses, it becomes part of us. If you're surrounding yourself with things and miracles and things about Mashiach, it's going to change you. It will make you more Geula conscious. And that's what we're trying to do. If we're here to prepare ourselves for the Rebbe, take us out of Golas, that's how we do it. So, just that's crazy stuff going on over there. I literally saw, I don't know, a few minutes before I recorded this, someone posted, and I saw it on Nashtarog that in Congress, they had a Hanukkah celebration. Do you see that?
Yeah.
They had they lit a menorah in the Congress with Mike Johnson, the House Majority Leader, with Hakeem Jeffries, the Minority Leader, and with one more guy.
Chuck Schumer.
And Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, Senate Majority Leader.
So, and the menorah, what was unique though was the menorah was made out of remnants from a Hamas rocket. And on the menorah, there was a plaque there that said, that they will beat their swords into plowshares. That you're taking the actual rocket and using it as a menorah. I mean, that's amazing. You had people being a mysterious nefesh to light the menorah in the middle of Russia somewhere. And here you have in the capital of the most powerful nation, with the Hamas rockets, with the Chit Chavais L'Itin lighting a menorah. I mean, if that's not the Mashiach event, I don't know what is. This is a truly amazing times that we're living in, and you have to remember, it's not Stam. This is the Rebbe influencing the world, changing it and breaking it. It's already ready, but in a revealed way, revealing this readiness for the Geula. Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy times we're living in, and it's funny because we record this and then we put it out on a different day. Like the things that happen between recording and putting it out, it's like so many things happen. It's.
Let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. No.
It's Here. Whatever is happening, look at it as if you were in Mitzrayim and it literally the last Makkah's. This is Makkah's Bechiris. You know, you have
That's very interesting.
There's crazy things happening out. There's the Makkah's Mitzrayim B'Chayreim. There's civil wars. There's mamish in Mitzrayim. It wasn't like everybody was hunky dory and it was nice and beautiful. And no, the Yidden were having good times. There were also bad things happening still, sort of, whatever. It depends on who you ask on the Midrashim. But there was a whole feeling of, this is it. Like,
at least by some Yidden. We know by...
Right,
by,
correct. By the 1/5 of all... Crazy.
Don't be like...
correct.
Don't be like Bob. Don't be like those people.
But what makes me very comfortable... whatever. I'm not gonna say this. But it's really, really, you really have to open your eyes. You really have to recognize, because it's just a better way to live, right? Imagine a person, right? There's the past 2 weeks. There's a lot of people saying, okay, all these things are, as David Nachshon made fun. These are biblical. These are biblical.
Biblish.
Right. What does he say? Tanachi or something like that. And something in Hebrew. It's very funny. So either you can live as these are biblical things, and look, Mashiach is so close. We're so close. We're so close. And there were so many people that had a feeling of like, again we're close. Again we're close. By COVID, you told me that this was the year. Like,
Jeder Mal fahren Mashiach kommt.
Yeah, correct. Jeder Mal fahren Mashiach kommt. You have this and then on the other. Yeah, fine. Yeah, the smell. So that's one way to live. The other way to live is like, oh my gosh, every single day or every single week, there's another huge thing that is happening that is transforming the world. This is part of, like, this is the Geula unfolding before our eyes. This is the redemption. This is us leaving the confines of exile, and this is us. This is the redemption. This is how it's coming about. Now, obviously, there's going to be that moment when there's going to be a big revelation of Mashiach and the Beis Hamikdash and all that stuff and Kibbutz Goliath. But until that happens, it's not like we're not anywhere. It's not like we're still in like deep dark exile and there's nothing there's no end in sight. No. Not only is there no end, there's an end in sight, but we are already in the process. For me, the most eye-opening talk I heard, speech, whatever, Fabringen, Vart, was how every single every single 1,000 years, the 6,000 years is split up into days, right? And we're on Elef Hashishi, we're on Friday afternoon.
Because one day by us is 1,000 years
right.
for us is one day by Hashem. So our 6 days by Hashem, it takes us 1,000 years.
Yeah. So what's Shabbos? Shabbos, 7th day is the Geula. Fine, but it's not like you're in 6 days
Shabbos
of
is already really the 6,000 years is supposed to be Mashiach, Yemaisa Mashiach, and Olam HaTchiyah and
no, I'm saying 6 to 7 is Shabbos, right?
6 to 7 is no, I think.
Yeah. That Arizal says.
No, 6 to 7 is Shabbos.
First...
6 to 7 is Shabbos, but Friday really belongs to Yemaisa Mashiach.
Correct. No. So this is what I'm getting. Yeah. It's not like you have 6 days of Sheshes Yamim Tavid that you're working for 6 days, and then like there's like a split second between the weekday and then Shabbos, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're Shabbos, like, oh, wow. No, the whole Friday afternoon, starting from Wednesday already, the Knei L'Chon, I don't know, but starting Friday afternoon is like you already have, you take a shower, all these things that are getting ready for the Geula. It's not like. And also, by the way, candlelighting.
Shabbos will come when it's ready.
Correct. And not only that, we light candles before Shkia, right? Shabbos, we also officially we're supposed to bring in for us. We're supposed to be already in Shabbos before Shkia, Every
Yeah,
18
you have
minutes,
4 minutes. Shkia Amita, Shkia Hanidis.
whatever it is. The point is that even in the weekday, you have this concept of Shabbos. Even though it's not Shabbos ka'alacha, meaning you could still do malacha, but it's still you're in the spirit of Shabbos. You could take a Shabbos to people. So it's the exact same thing over here. It's not like we're in deep dark gullus and there's no and we're really really far or anything like this. We're already in the mode of Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. We're getting ready for. It's not only that we're getting ready. It's not like. You get what I'm saying? It's like this is it. This is part of the whole thing.
This is the time to get excited. I like the way you put it about Mitzrayim. Right. If there were 100 before Moshe came and said pocket bekadati and taking you guys out of Golos. Whenever politics happened in Mitzrayim, when we read the story, we only imagine that only the parts that are told over. That's the only thing that happened. But it was like 200 years of history. Like stuff happened. It was like they were in Mitzrayim. It's like it was, people were born, people lived lives, they died, they had kids, family, like things happened. But politics happened. I have no idea. And rightfully, there were some Yidden who were like, we're going to be redeemed or whatever, the Meshachisten over there. And most Yidden were like, whatever, another day comes and goes. But then after Moshe comes onto the scene, some Yidden originally didn't believe him. But Hashem said, why are you talking Lashon Hara about my people? Like, you're saying they're not going to believe you, they will believe you. And then in the end, the Yidden caught on that Moshe is taking us out of Galus. You have Dam, Tardea, and you read up the Midrashim how it was. There are some novels that try to paint a picture to really put you into the scene of what it was like going through the Makkahs for the Yidden. And this is happening. It's surreal. At that point, whatever politics is happening, if you were living then, hopefully, you knew this isn't just stuff happening. This is monumental. They're going to put this in the history books. I don't know if they knew that this was the ultimate history. Well, Torah's not a history book, but the ultimate paradigm of all through which all of history would unfold. But they knew this is happening. This isn't just random. No. This is monumental. What's happening now? Oh, Dustin and Aviram are doing. No. It's
real stuff.
It's some
crazy.
palace intrigue, some palace drama. No. This is happening. You heard what Moshe said today to Pare? No, like this is. This is what you have to understand now. We're not speculating because we're bored. We want to make a podcast and talk about whatever's going on because whatever. You have to understand the perspective. Moshiach is already revealed. He's on the scene. Moshe is here doing things. That's a fact. Exactly, just like in Mitzrayim, there was some politics that happened afterwards that didn't make it into the Torah. Taka wasn't important. I don't know, as important enough to make it into the books. So we're here trying to figure out what should we focus on, what's important. But it's for sure, Mashiach is here. He's on the scene. He's making stuff. Stuff is going down. This is happening. It's surreal. There's no turning back the clock. Get on board. The train is leaving the station. I was one of the earliest episodes. We discussed this more at length, but I was learning today, Torah this week, by Yeshiv, and there the Alter Rebbe discusses the whole thing is all about birurim. He breaks it down nitty gritty, but this whole thing about these birurim, why there's so many, because he explains where everything breaks down into many different bits and pieces. Everything starts off more unified at the beginning as it goes down into the worlds. Breaks into a lot of pieces. That's why there's so many sparks to purify. He explains the Shvatim might purify all the spiritual mechanics. I'm not getting into it. But he says, what happens?
Plug for Torah.
Plug for Torah. Learn Torah. Very important. Chaisar and Abayz, the last thing that ever says, learn the Torah. Look at Torah, all their parts until you finish all of them. So get to work.
Especially when people are listening to this, it's going to be coming off Yites Chav Kislev.
Yes. I this year I made a little on my PDF. I made a little bunch of check boxes next to each mimer in the index, the beginning of Tech. so that I could check off if I did it instead of learning the same first few Mamarim every parsha every year. I could actually finish it.
Yeah.
So there, the Alter Rebbe says, when you finish, Mashiach comes. Once is Yavi Mashiach, and the other time he says Yavi Hagoyel. Mashiach doesn't say that we have the Gula, but he says Mashiach comes. The Redeemer comes. It's a very interesting diak. And the Rebbe told us unequivocally, and this is a sicha in Vayishlach, in the base. The Rebbe stresses unequivocally how we have completed all of the sparks. There's a voida of the sparks. And the only thing remaining, so long as we're in Galus, which is totally not understood and makes no sense, is the unique Aveda to bring the revelation fully revealed in this world. So this, whatever that was talking about exactly, the revelation of Mashiach or Gula or whatever it is, the job now is a unique job to bring it fully revealed into the world. And that's what's happening on a grander scale. Like we said, it's all here, it's downloaded, it's here, but it's being more revealed in the world. That was revealing it in the world, and it's our job. When we see this, it helps us to reveal it within ourselves, that we should see it. It has to happen in every single one of us if you want it to happen on the larger scale, on the world scale. So it's happening, and the subject of the Sikha Vayeshev in the base is obviously, for those who know, the transformation of France. That it's
good stuff.
The French Revolution was a terrible thing. Alter Rebbe fought against it. It was all about secularism and anti-Hashem, and everyone do whatever you want. And now in France, you have yeshiva like Temchet Mimim, Sheba Lubavitch. You have chassidus coming from there. And the Rebbe says this completes. The world is transformed. The world is transformed. It's happened. We just have to realize. Look what's going on. It's all the thing. Esav is transformed. Look what America is doing today. Everything is transformed and ready for the Gula. We are the last step. Us, the Yidden. We need to recognize. We have to realize. That's why it's important to focus on these things. Realize what's going on. Internalize that message and bring Moshiach now.
ועד כדי כך המדבר גולהוב der Am soll machli sein, Yeshi HaMelech.